Have you ever felt totally paralyzed by a big decision? Spending hours, maybe even days, weighing every single option? Well, what if the key to making better, faster decisions isn't about more analysis, but about using smarter shortcuts? That's what we're diving into right now, the power of the good enough decision. Right off the bat, we're taught to never cut corners. But let's be real. In today's world, is that even possible? We're going to challenge that idea head on. We'll see how those mental shortcuts, the ones often seen as a weakness, can actually be your greatest professional strength if you use them right. So to really get a grip on the power of shortcuts, first we have to just dismantle this huge myth that traps so many of us, especially at work. And that is the myth of the perfect decision. We're all under this constant pressure to be flawless, right? To analyze every single angle to find that one best answer. But in reality, perfect information is a luxury we almost never have. And that endless chase for perfection, it usually just leads to a dead end. Total decision paralysis. You just get stuck. So if chasing perfection is a trap, what's the alternative? Well, the amazing thing is, our brains are already wired for it. They've developed some incredibly clever adaptations, and we're going to focus on two of the most powerful ones, heuristics and satisficing. Okay, first up, we've got heuristics. Honestly, the best way to think about these is as little mental if-then rules. Like, if it's dark and cloudy outside, then I'll bring an umbrella. It's not a perfect weather forecast, for sure, but it's a quick, effective rule of thumb that works most of the time. And next up is its partner in crime, satisficing. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not about settling for less. It's about being strategic. Imagine you're buying a new car. Instead of driving every single model out there, you set your criteria up front. Let's say great gas mileage and a top safety rating. You buy the first car that checks those boxes. That's satisficing. And here's the thing, these concepts are already a huge part of your life. You use them without even thinking, like when you switch checkout lines because one is too long. In the workplace, a manager is using that exact same mental muscle to create a rule. If a project goes 20% over budget, boom, it automatically triggers a review. No debate, no meetings, just a clear preset action. So what's the real payoff for embracing these smart shortcuts? Look, it's about so much more than just speed. When you use them the right way, heuristics and satisficing can totally transform how you and your team operate. And this is where it gets really powerful. These program decisions don't just make you faster, they make your entire organization smarter. That efficiency buys you back precious time for deeper, more strategic work. They drive consistency, which helps ensure fairness. They empower your team to actually make decisions, which is the only way to scale. And maybe most importantly, they basically capture and bottle up expertise for everyone to use. Here's a perfect real-world example. Instead of endlessly debating every single resume that comes in, a hiring team agrees on a simple scoring system. It's fast, it's consistent, and it frees up everyone's brain power to focus on the truly great candidates. That's not just a small win. That is a massive strategic advantage. Okay, but here's the crucial warning. Every powerful tool has a potential pitfall, and a rule of thumb that saves you time one day can absolutely lead you straight down the wrong path the next if you're not paying close attention. The real danger is in blindly applying these rules without thinking. Take a hiring heuristic, like we only consider candidates from top-ranked universities. It might seem efficient on the surface, but it can create a really homogeneous team with huge blind spots, and that can weaken your organization from the inside out. So the question becomes, how do we get all that upside without falling into the traps? Well, the answer isn't to just abandon shortcuts. It's to build them consciously, carefully, and with your eyes wide open. Let's walk through exactly how to do that. So how do you actually bottle that expert intuition your top performers seem to have? You kind of have to reverse engineer it. You watch them, you talk to them, and you turn their unspoken decision-making process into simple, explicit rules. Then, and this is key, you test those rules. This is how you scale genius across your whole team. And to satisfy effectively, you absolutely need a plan. Before you even start looking, you have to define exactly what good enough looks like. You set a hard time limit, and crucially, once you find an option that meets your preset criteria, you commit. This isn't laziness. This is disciplined, strategic decision-making. And all of this leads to the master strategy. The goal isn't to automate everything or analyze everything. It's to program the routine, say 80% of your decisions, the core stuff, so you can save your most precious resource, your mental energy, for that complex new 20% at the edges that truly demands your full creative attention. This table lays it all out, crystal clear. Smart satisficing is deliberate. It's strategic. It upholds your standards. Poor satisficing, on the other hand, is just impulsive and unstructured, and it leads to this slow, creeping decline in quality. The tool is exactly the same. The difference is all in how you use it. So let's bring it all home. This is not some battle between slow but perfect versus fast but flawed. The most effective leaders and thinkers, they don't choose one or the other. They build this flexible toolkit that has both deep, rigorous analysis and well-designed shortcuts, and they develop the wisdom to know exactly when to use each one. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. What's one of those unwritten rules at your workplace that is quietly driving major decisions? Now that you understand the immense power and the potential danger of these shortcuts, isn't it time to take a much closer look?